Well, hey there, YouTubes. Coming at you again. So you know what I love? Camera battery meters. Because what they do is they go from, I think I had a third left, to empty, just like that. Love it. So, like I was saying, I'll have to review that last video, but I'll backtrack just a smidgen. I've got AIX 4.3 installed on here. If I can get at the SCSI CD-ROM drive, I'd be able to pop the CD and see what it was. It was a very straightforward install. Put it in maintenance mode, service mode they call it here. Put the new hard drive in that didn't have anything on it. Let it boot. Booted just fine. Came right up. Really simple install. One disc. It's not like the 5.1 videos that I got up here that seem to take, you know, a bazillion discs and go on and on and on for days. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. There we go. So as you can see, I'm at the console, the login prompt. What I did notice was that because I had added that other board back in there, that's multi-protocol, blah, 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 it said devices that had been attached or were attached are now attached, or basically was saying it found new hardware. Cool. So let's start with that. I got a very simple root password. Of course, I can't type and talk at the same time. There we go. We're at AIX 4.3. Date and time is correct. I got the networking set up. I can even ping google.com. You know, considering the age of the operating system on here, it's pretty impressive. Actually, I'm kind of curious. So it always says, "Welcome to AIX 4.3. Please see the README file in the user/lpp/bos README file in that folder for information pertinent to this release of AIX." Okay, so user/lpp/bos. Hey, there is a README, so let's do cat README pipe more. Because I'm curious to see if it lists the copyright date. And I'm seeing, well, at the very least it says 1999. So this is, you know, and it says it is 4.3.3. This is new enough that DNS isn't really a question anymore. So I'm going to abort that now. What it said to do was a diag-a, D-I-A-G-A. It's been a long time since I ran that. I'm curious to see what it does. If I remember correctly, it takes a while to do pretty much anything. Apparently the terminal is not properly initialized. The following are some of the terminal types that are supported. Well, I have an IBM 3151. Pretty sure I did that once before. I don't know. Smith wanted that. Okay. Basically it's saying missing resources. Yep, CD-ROM drive. Definitely missing. Don't have that anymore. Make a selection and press enter to process missing options resolutions. Okay, enter. The resource has been removed from the system and should be removed from the configuration. Move to another location, turned off, remain. Yes, since I did remove it, I don't care about it anymore. We're going to remove it and be done with it. Because we're not really going to do anything with CDs anymore. If anything, we'll probably just do everything over the network. Speaking of, df-h works on Linux. The human readable doesn't work here. And if you do just a straight df, it lists everything in 512-byte blocks, which, if you start doing the math in your head, works, but if you do df-k, you get 1 kilobyte blocks. So what it looks like is I have, on slash, I've got 1, maybe 2 megabytes free, 15 on user, 11 on temp, 4 on, no, yeah, roughly 4 on home. I basically don't have jack or squat on here, but I know that it didn't fully utilize the disk. That's one of the beauties of AIX, is it doesn't have to. So I'm going to look at the environment variable, because term equals dumb. Not going to help us any. What we need to do is do export term equals IBM 3151. We'll do an env again, and there it is. Now we can do a submit, get into the management system. Boom, look at that. Now, what was I doing? I wanted to do a device list. Let's see here. Now, we don't need to configure anything after IPL. What was I wanted to basically, what is it, an async adapter? Curious to know if the system knows about, yeah, it doesn't know about any asyncs. If it knows about that serial adapter, I'm curious to see what it thinks it is. Asynchronous I/O. Now, basically I want to find, there we go, list devices. I want to list all defined devices, which should go through and give me a list of everything that's on here. So, apparently we do have an asynchronous I/O, whatever that is. There's our 10100 microchannel, cool beans, a floppy drive adapter, some logical volumes, a bunch of logical volumes. There's the onboard Ethernet as well. There's a 1 gigabyte SCSI drive, yeah. I/O board, loopback, bunch of 8 megabyte memory modules. I'm kind of impressed it lists that there. 2 serial ports, SCSI, a graphics slot, but no graphics adapter. Keyboard, mouse, tablet, a system object, whatever that is, an async terminal. See, so now I'm thinking it's saying asynchronous, meaning this terminal. So, was there something that was not async, but still serial? Know what I mean? Know what I mean? Know what I mean? I don't know if there was. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I suppose it doesn't really matter. So, what do we want to do? I got the system up and running because I definitely want to do Hack-A-Day. Again, I'll put a link in here. It has a little challenge that they talk about called their Retro Challenge, which is load their web page on the oldest machine that you can. Subnote: the first person to get it running on an Intel 4004 gets a free t-shirt or something like that. So I've been getting all kinds of machines up and running and as best as possible getting a graphical user interface. I don't have the video card for this one, so I may have to get some of the software from the Bull website, the group Bull out of France, I think. Did a lot of precompiled binaries for AIX 4.3, 5.1, things like that, so that you just a straight dump it in there. It's software. It works. It's great. These guys are fantastic. I don't know if it's still up. I really hope that archive is still up, and I really need to see if I can get an archive of it made, because I'm running into a lot of systems that have a lot of cool software available on the internet. But that was, 2007, and it's now 2013, and a lot of it's disappearing. So, I wanted to go to storage. Let's look at some logical volumes here. Let's look at some volume groups, list all volume groups. I don't really care if it's so there's root VG. I wanted to see see a volume group. I think we wanted logical volumes. I wanted to show characteristics of logical volume. Basically, I wanted to see how much disk space is left unallocated. And so I want to look at like user. User's a good folder. I don't think this is where I want to be. Neat, but man, this is This is going back. I haven't had to use 4.3 in a very, very long time. Physical volumes is the disk, basically. H-disk 0 in this case, right? So if we list... Change characteristics? I wanted to just see the size of the disk, but maybe I can't do that here. Yeah, I didn't think so. So, physical volume can, multiple physical volumes can be in a volume group, right? Volume group then has logical volumes in that, to then which you have basically a file system on top of. So if we list all volume groups, we have root volume group, root VG, which makes total sense. To list the contents of the volume group, root VG. Get something to drink here. Here we are. So, total PP, I forget what PP is, but we have a 952 megabytes of available storage on there. 76 megabytes are free, and 276 are being used. We have 8 logical volumes, 7 open logical, 1 physical volume, no stale, 1 active physical, because you can have multiple physical in one logical group, remember that. I don't know why it's listing quorum. It's not really a thing, but now what we wanted to do, now let's say we wanted to change the size. So we would go logical volumes. I want to set the characteristics of a logical volume. I want to increase the size of a logical volume. There we go. Now it's coming back to me. So let's get a listing of the logical volumes. And let's extend the home volume, because I think it's at 4 megabytes right now. Where is that now? Number of additional logical partitions. What does that mean? Is that what I wanted? Increases the number of logical partitions allocated to the logical volume by allocating the number of additional logical partitions, which doesn't help. An LP. Now, was I not just saying that under volume group? What was it? List contents? Root VG was an LP. I think it was LP was what I wanted to know. Well, okay, so PP, oh Jesus, PP is 4 megabytes. So we have 169 free of those. So, man. So, yeah, no, obviously it's a logical volume. I want to set the characteristics of, I want to increase the size of a logical volume. Logical volume of the home folder ish. So logical partition, not physical volume, but position. See, I don't think I'm doing this right. I'm gonna have to come back to this, I think. Show characteristics of a logical volume. Well, okay, so if I have to increase that, if it's a 4 megabyte partition right now, so there's home, there's a lot of 1s on that. I suspect that's probably means it has, you know, like, here we go, okay. LPs, 1. PP size is 4 megabytes. Boy, I'm really channeling like my grade school kid here. Okay, so I'm going to change the LP to 2. We'll do a DF on it. We should theoretically see 8 megabytes on it then, right? Yeah, okay. What's the worst that'll happen? I gotta reinstall AIX. What the freaking do? So let's set the characteristics. We want to increase the size of... I imagine I could type this in, but I'm not going to bother doing that. /home. I want the number of additional logical partitions I'm going to change to 1. I'll hit enter to do that. I can hear it thunking away. Now, the thing of it is that for... I don't know why I'm putting my hand up there. I can use a pencil. So, cool, we're done. So what we're going to be running into is, this is a very small hard drive in here, so we don't exactly have a ton of free space available to do things with the temp folder. Because, like, what we would normally do is go in there and, you know, like, copy over the AIX updates to the temp folder, apply them on the same hard drive. But since we only got 1 GB, we may not be able to do that. So I may have to get like an external hard drive hooked up. I got a couple of them. The challenge is going to be that 50-pin, that SCSI adapter on there, and whether it's going to work with these other hard drives. But so I want to get a shell, so I'm going to hit F9. Yep, that's fine. So now if we do a df-k again. So before we said home had 4 megabytes and home still has 4 megabytes. So did I not do that right? So, okay, we're going to go back. Okay, so I said that, okay. This, no, show characteristics of that particular. Yeah, see, now it's saying 221. Okay, so that's good. Show me how much free space is on there now. So we got 2 logical partitions, 2 PEPs at 4 megabytes each. So what do I gotta do to do this now? Man, this is gonna drive me nuts here. Well, folks, I may come back to this. I may have to go get a book or something. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably start archiving or downloading all the kinds of stuff off of the Group Bowl website. Again, I'll link that down at the bottom of this video. So, hey, thanks for watching. See you around.